Huh. Okay. Welcome back to the Puck Bunker. This is episode 32. I'm Rocco Zappia, joined live right next to me by my co-host, the man who is set to graduate from daddy to father, the soon-to-be first-time dad, Darren Boyce. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, Rocco. How are you?
Good. I did run that joke past your wife, by the way, so
that's good.
So we're not going to get in trouble for that one. But I came up to London. Boys had his diaper party this weekend. Any excuse for me to get out for a weekend, I'm in. We went golfing yesterday. We're way better scouts than golfers, and I don't know if we're that good at scouts yet. But
we're terrible golfers.
We're terrible fucking golfers.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a long day on the course, but the beers made it a lot better. And so did the buds. We had a great day with. Got to meet a bunch of Boyce's buddies that are here from London. All great guys. One of his buddies saved our ass on the putting green. That's you, Jared. Thanks for that.
Way to go, Jerry.
Jerry chants all over the municipal golf courses of the great town of Lambeth, Ontario. We are going to record probably a few hours of stuff and hopefully cut it into a couple usable episodes here. We're just going to be basically watching video. There's a TV over here where we're watching video. The U18s are done. Canada won the gold. Back-to-back champs. Yeah, they put the boots to Sweden in the finals is what they did, really.
Do you even know who they beat?
Sweden. I mean, well, only one team showed up, so it was hard to remember who they were even playing. But yeah, they took the boots to Sweden, and I think we finally may have made a Brady Martin believer out of Darren Boyce.
Yeah, he looked really good in that tournament.
So we're going to try and build our final list here. The CHL playoffs are done. The U18s are done. And we're going to see if we can come to some sort of agreement on what a final ranking might look like. And okay, you want to put a spreadsheet in the back here since we're using my computer and phone to record this? I don't have anything in my hand. So let's look at the list. Okay, that's good. So Schaefer, number one. I think I'm still quite fine with that.
Do we need to rewatch him?
Do we need to rewatch him? No. I mean, we watched pretty much every single game he played this year. What do you think?
We don't have any update on him. Other than I hope he's healthy and ready to go.
I don't even know if you need an update on him. I think he was the way he played just at the World Juniors, like he was so dominant there that like right there, I'd kind of decided that I had basically seen enough.
Are we worried about him being injured at all?
For a collarbone? Not really. Because that's not one of those scary recurring.
I'm not. There could be I'm going to say there could be maybe some, maybe a little bit gun shy when he comes back. But I mean,
now I don't know that there's not some teams that wouldn't take someone else number one.
Yeah, they could take Misa one.
Now we had that on one of our first episodes. Misa was a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
We're probably going to toot our own horn a lot here. Probably a lot more on draft day until we get things wrong. Then we'll ignore that.
So, I think a team like Chicago could take him first.
I think Chicago could take him first.
Yeah,
too.
I think there's teams that really want if they believe he's a number one center, and maybe they don't quite believe Schaefer's a number one defenseman. Just maybe again, he's not the biggest guy out there comparatively to some others, so maybe that would be the thinking. Or they've drafted a bunch of D lately. I would still take Schaefer first, but I wouldn't be shocked if a team did that.
To me, if you're drafting first overall, you just take the best player.
Well, you think he's Scott Niedermayer. So.
I do. You didn't have to call me out like that on throw my outlandish prediction on air, but he does. He reminds me of Scott Niedermayer. He's dominant in all 3 zones. He's the smartest player on the ice. His skating is unbelievable. I don't think he really has a flaw to his game. Best player I saw, even though he only played half the year. I don't know. I've taken a number one still. If
Erie was a different team with him. Like I think they were a legit contender when he was healthy. Like they won a boatload of games when he was playing.
And he can play. How many minutes can he play? 26 minutes a night, 28 minutes a night. I don't know. To me, this is a future Norris Trophy winner, and I've got all the time in the world for Michael Misa. I like that guy a lot.
I'm going to be the curmudgeon here.
Okay, fine.
In the playoffs, the problem is Saginaw did play a real running gun style. Now, I think Misa can play defensively, especially pretty well in the neutral zone. but there is some run and gun type tendencies here at times.
Well, Sagan always play fucking pond hockey
Yeah.
most of the year. Throw some highlights of his up here. Let's watch his playoff points.
Do you know how many points he had in the playoffs?
How many?
3.
3.
Looks like it.
3 points in 4 games. That's not inspiring stuff.
Is that actually true? Let's hold on. Are they missing something?
Yeah, 3 points.
3 point minus 10.
Minus 10 in 4 games in the playoffs. That's not.
So he's 3 points and minus 10 in the playoffs.
Okay, so
does that raise concern for you at all? Like, does that bother you at all?
What do you play? 5 games?
4.
4 games.
Are we worried about the playoff that Michael Misa had? He had 3 points. It was minus 10. He played 4 games, and they lost. Again, he missed a game, but they lost in 5 to Erie, who was a team that shouldn't have been that much better than them.
Okay. He clearly didn't dominate the way he did in the regular season. But I don't know that, I still think we're looking at the second best player in the draft class here.
Does it give you any pause, though?
It takes him out of the debate for number 1 for me.
You think? Okay.
Well, I mean, I already had Schaefer ahead, and he didn't do anything to change my mind. I'm not punishing him for a couple subpar games, although you don't like to see it in the playoffs. But he still had, 3, 9, 14, 17, 19 shots in 5 games in the playoffs. I don't know. He wasn't terrible. His Corsi numbers
they weren't great.
They were over 53 of the 5 games.
Yeah.
Expected goals for, he was on the right side of it. Well, half the time.
Not really.
No, not really. Yeah. 2 out of, I guess not, eh? I mean,
they struggled, man.
Not their best.
No. So for me, I don't know if it gives me pause. I think if you think he's a number 1 center, they'll still take him. I don't think they'll hold 4 games against them. They'll look at the whole sample size. He also performed in the playoffs last year on a team that wasn't playing a run and gun type style. So, I mean, there's that. But maybe some hesitation from the playoff that he had. He's still number 2 for me, though. I'm still okay with that. I'm not going to hammer him like some other guys that I do.
Because he created so much, I think, separation from the pack. Those 2 guys, there wasn't he would have had to really stink it up.
He's going to get points in the NHL. He'll be a point getter.
Oh,
whether you think he's a superstar, maybe that's more the argument people are going to have. You know, it's who you compare him to. Is he a Jack Hughes type? Is he a Stützle type? Who is he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a little more complete of a player than a guy like Jack Hughes. I don't know if he can dance quite as well. No, Hughes has a little bit. I think he might be a little more electric of a player. Misa's got a little more element to his game. I think Stützle is not a bad route to go in terms of maybe the type of guy you can expect, where he's a little harder to play against in some of these soft skill centers, but maybe not quite as hard against as the Barkovs and Kopitars of the world.
So he's a 90-point centerman.
Hell of a fucking pick, 2nd overall, if you ask me. But that said, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to change my mind about putting Schaefer number 1, and that's where I stand, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. Boys, are you fine with that?
Yeah.
As our final list here.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna check something first.
So we got that's fine. So we got Schaefer 1 and Misa 2.
Mm-hmm. So I'm keeping Desnoyers 3. I mean, if there's one guy I've watched the entire year that has consistently played a great game of hockey, it's him. I think every game I've watched him play, he's consistently done the same things over and over and over and over again on a winning team. Now, again, some people maybe question his skating. His skating's more than good enough. He's a bigger guy. He's going to get bigger. Like, what is there not to like about this guy? I still think he's underrated. I know I ranted about this on our last episode. I mean, look, I think they're going to win the QMJHL. He's going to be their best player. He is their leading point getter. And the one thing about him is that he does, I guess, comparatively to a lot of point getters, especially even comparing him to a guy like Misa, he's never risking anything to get points.
No.
And he's still getting points.
I completely agree. And I'll give you credit. You were on D1A maybe a little before I was at the beginning of the year in terms of putting him in the top 3. But geez, I can't find a hole in this guy's game.
No.
I've tried. There's nothing he's weak at, not one damn thing. And he's elite at so many. I think his offensive play is underrated. I think he has very, very good offensive vision. Maybe not quite as high end of a playmaker in terms of absolute upside as a Jake O'Brien. But geez, he's just such a good 200-foot player. I think he's a little bit better skater than O'Brien. I think he's a little bit better in his defensive end.
He's a better defender than him. And he's more physical than him too.
Yeah, and there's a little more physical runway there. Although I would not be shocked if down the road, like if O'Brien's absolute offensive upside might be higher.
Maybe. I'm gonna again.
I'm Desnoyers ahead of O'Brien for sure.
I mean, you questioned me on this before. Do I think that he's Patrice Bergeron? I mean, his defensive game could be that good. Like it could be.
He's an elite two-way center.
So we've been watching. When you watch the NHL playoffs, what are things that we see? It's players that dominate the center of the ice or the middle of the ice. They're the teams that win. Speaking
of playoffs, how about Mikko Rantanen? Oh my God. Just spitting down Colorado's throat, saying, fuck you, you could have had me, and now I'm going to take it into my own hands and beat you myself. Do we think there's any doubt that Colorado's not in round 2 if they don't make that trade? And I know there's more factors in this just this season. It's about the longevity of building a sustainable franchise and the cap allocation and all that stuff. But my God, if they would not have beat Dallas with Rantanen on their side.
Well, Dallas isn't even healthy, and they still beat them. So
he set like 5 NHL records.
Yeah,
this series.
That's a tough goal for Colorado.
That's a tough goal for Colorado. Like, oh, man.
All right.
Sorry, back to
where we're going here. So this is where
I don't know when we're going to release this episode, but that game was last night, so we're still.
So I think we're good on our top 3 here. I think we have been for a while.
Do you want to talk about Hagens? Because that's a consensus 3 where everyone's going to say, "Oh, blah blah blah, you idiots."
So I'll talk about Hagens again. I've watched his end of his college season here. The same flaws that I've been concerned about all year are still there. He still turns over the puck a lot. There's a lot of plays that die on his stick. And the other thing is too that he cannot get the puck back. If they lose the puck, he is really not contributing to getting the puck back. So speaking of Desnoyers, he literally wins he's like Mark Stone. He wins every puck battle.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if it's using his body to win a puck battle, it's a stick to win a puck battle. He wins the puck back for his team, and his team has the puck the entire time. The problem with Hagens is that when he loses the puck, he has a real problem getting it back. Now, can that develop? Yes. He's a smaller guy, but I mean, can it develop? Yes. The thing with Hagens, he can make a lot of plays at speed that other guys can't.
Well, and that's the thing that I keep struggling with is that his natural skill level is much higher than Desnoyers.
So what do you how do we rank this? Because a lot of people just see the speed. It's like, well, he should he's the most skilled guy in the draft. Well, the problem is I don't know if his brain really keeps up with his skill level here.
I think his brain offensively is fine. And we need to keep in mind too that NCAA, he's not supposed to be dominant the way he is against his peers. And anytime he's played against his peers, he has been absolutely fucking dominant. So put him and Desnoyers on the same ice, and I don't know who looks better.
Well, I'll say this: if they played together, I think Desnoyers would make him look good.
Would it not work both ways?
They make each other look pretty good. I think that would it'd actually be a good line pairing. Actually,
Well, like, what does Hagens put up in the queue this year? 120 points.
Do they win as many games though?
Don't know. They don't know. I think, like, if we're talking for fantasy, if you're picking a fantasy team, Hagens is fuck. You might be first.
Well, I'm not picking a fantasy team.
No, I know. Me neither. I'm picking a team that's going to have to try to beat the Dallas Stars or the Vegas Golden Knights or the Florida Panthers, right?
Yeah.
I think Desnoyers plays more of a winning brand of hockey than James Hagens. That being said, we have to be very careful because that's a guy with the type of talent that can make us look awfully fucking stupid.
So here,
ranking him 4th overall.
Well, here's the question though. So you have him and Martone, who both kind of have some flaws that we're worried about.
Yeah.
They both have some high-end talent. They're different types of players. You know, one's the big body kind of skill guy. The other guy's the really fast, can make plays at speeds that other guys can't. Martone is not the skater of him, but again, because of the size skill combo, it's unique.
But Martone's a lot harder to play against than Hagens is. And and I'm not saying he's like we gotta drop these fucking Kachuk brother comparisons with Martone
because he doesn't play like that.
No, he doesn't play like that. It's not fair. It's not fair to put that on him. If he can end up, I don't know. I just don't think that's what he is.
So here's my question to you. Do you think that he can gain a step skating?
Martone? Yes. I think, okay. I don't think his skating is ever going to be a strength of his. I don't think he's ever going to be a burner. You're never going to see him entered into the fastest skater competition at the NHL All-Star game. But you don't see those things with, like, Corey Perry, the Kachucks, even though I just said it's a bad comp, it's a big guy that's not the fastest. Brady Kachuk. Eric Stahl made a career of winning battles down low without burning guys.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of, if you're not going to be able to skate like elite, being big is a pretty good way to make up for it because, like, I said this to you yesterday, and you told me, well, you kind of corrected me. I said the game's slower in the playoffs. And you said it's not slower, it's just kind of more clogged up. I'm like, well, either way, they're not getting up to full speed nearly as much. Like, how many rush chances are we seeing where guys are breaking down the wing full fucking speed, where it actually matters as much? But versus
how many, because like the game last night, like there's nothing, like the first two periods, nothing available.
Right. And how many times do we see the puck along the boards or in the corner waiting for someone with the hands to be able to dig it out and make a play to the front of the net? And that's exactly what this guy excels at.
Yeah.
So yeah, is he wowing you in open ice with his speed and finesse? No, not really. Is he winning the hardest worker award night in and night out? No, probably not. But the things he does well, he does better than literally anyone in this draft class, and they translate pretty well to when games get hard and tight. So
I'm going to come around on him. I actually think that I will take him ahead of Hagens for what you said there. I think if your push comes to...
Is that all it took?
No, it's not all it took, but it's his push comes to shove. He does have the skill set that can be effective in the playoffs, and that's what I'm looking for in my teams.
Like, look at Rantanen last night.
Yeah, no, again, but I'm also going to say this. I think it's more likely that he can pick up a step skating than Hagens ever becomes a guy who wins a ton of puck battles down low. Like, I think...
Well, I was going to say there's a fuck of a lot better chance that Martone improves his skating than Hagens becoming 6'4".
Yes. So and again, I think there's different skill sets here. Both these guys have high-end skill. Like, again, they have high-end skill sets. They're different. So the only other thing would here is if you think Hagens is a centerman.
I don't.
Neither do I. I don't think he's good enough as a two-way guy. And also as well, when he's going to be playing bigger, stronger guys, like that's going to be tough for him. And he already kind of, I hate to say it, I've seen it a couple of times. He shies away from physicality.
I could see him playing center though. Like, he could play center in the sense of being like the transporter of the puck, sort of up the ice, through the middle, and then maybe be playing with a bigger winger who plays down lower, takes draws. Maybe he plays with like Giroux did that for years, where he played wing
with Stützle.
Where in Philly too.
Yeah, but he did it with Stützle.
He played wing offensively, but he played center defensively. And that could be a situation that Hagens gets himself into, because I don't really see him ever becoming an elite defensive player. Now, if he could choose to, you can choose to do that when you're that good.
The thing is with him, though,
I just don't think it's in
no. But the thing is with him, okay, I don't want to like say that I don't think he tries defensively. I think he does. Like, I don't think he's like
just small and weak.
I don't think he ignores the defensive end. I think he tries fine. I just don't think like it doesn't really happen. I think is more to say. Like, I don't think there's an effort problem here. Like, I am not questioning his effort. I think he skates just fine. He tries defensively. He tries to get in position. He's just not totally there. He's just it's not where he's supposed to be. He kind of flies by guys at times, and he can't win battles against guys. So the question is, can that improve?
Well, okay,
is that more likely to improve versus Martone's skating?
Okay, but how much of that is him playing NCAA against guys who are 22 and 23 and 24 years old?
Yeah.
He's going to look weaker. He's going to get pushed around, and he's going to lose battles.
So how did it look in the World Juniors?
I thought he picked his spots pretty fucking carefully in the World Juniors.
Because he looked really good against lower opponents, but then when he played against the better teams, you could tell, look, he got a lot of points that tournament. We talked about that. When he played the better teams, he had one goal.
No, I know.
And again, it wasn't because he played well, but when the game slowed down against the better opponents and bigger guys, like, he kind of struggled a bit more. Now, again, he was 18 in an older tournament. So he was still young for the tournament.
So are we going to rank him fifth? And where do Frondell and O'Brien? I was ready to put Frondell third.
Well, okay.
But I'm not. I don't think I am anymore.
So the thing with Frondell is I still have the same. I'm sticking with what I said before. I think this guy's a secondary piece on an offensive line. I think he can play on a first line. I think he needs to play with someone else who's the play driver. And I think he'll be very good with them. I just don't think he drives. Like, even again, at the under 18s, I get it. He came in late. He didn't look like an offensive play driver to me.
I found Sweden team was weird. They put up a shit ton of goals, but I didn't find they really stood out.
No,
at the same time, which is weird because they scored so much. But I don't know.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Okay, I think this guy can play in the league for 15 years.
But you just said you think he'd be a first line player, and here we are going to rank him sixth.
Yes, because I do think the other guy
first line center.
Here's the thing: I do think the other guys have the potential to be a driver of their line at some point. I question Hagens a bit more in Martone with that, but if they do, like, if they hit, they could be. Like, do you think Frondell really can be, even if he hits? Like, I'm not sure that's what he is.
I think he can be. But he just he can drive a line quietly with smart, sound positional play, almost like the defenseman that you don't notice until you watch him isolated and you're like, oh fuck, he didn't make a damn mistake all game. And that's kind of Frondell. And he has these instances where he does decide to take a chance offensively, and you'll see a burst of speed, or when he decides to try to beat a guy one-on-one, he does it. He just simplifies his game so much and plays such a detailed game that I find a lot of times, like, I don't know that he doesn't have the tools, that he just chooses to play such a responsible pro game that you almost don't notice him because he's not making these flashy plays, and he's not making the mistakes to need to recover from.
No, he looks better when he plays pro. Like, again, we can't take out of his pro, but even with
is that not a good thing?
It is a good thing. But even with his pro game, again, yeah, it is. But even with his pro game, I don't think it was line driving per se that he was doing, but he was playing well with professional hockey players, with men. He fit in perfectly with them. So, like, how do you rank that? Like, do you think, like, he's definitely safer than Hagens and Martone are?
Okay, so if you think he's safe and you think he's going to be a first liner, how do you rank him below guys that you have major question marks with?
Well, I have questioned his general offensive ability at the NHL level.
What do you think his offensive production looks like.
Like kind of a consistent 25 guy.
That's it?
Something like that. Like I don't think he's going to be an 80-point guy.
So you think like what, Nugent Hopkins?
Nugent Hopkins had 100 points one year.
Yeah, once. As an outlier season. He's usually a 70-point player.
I don't know about Nugent Hopkins, but it's like
okay, so what then?
Maybe we'll say 60 points then, sure.
I know. Okay, so like
what do you think? But like what do you compare that to? Like do you think like being Hagens the guy who can score 30 goals? Like
Hagens could score fucking 40 goals. His shot's incredible.
There you go.
I think Hagens could be a 90-point player.
What about Martone?
No, I know.
Like, do you think Frondell could be a?
So what do you think?
Do you think Frondell could be a 90-point player?
So what do you think? And I get away from the stylistic comparison. He's not Nugent Hopkins. Do you think Couturier in terms of offensive production?
Sure. Like when he was not hurt.
Is that
yeah?
Like what are we thinking here? Like thinking a 60-point player. That's it.
I think
he could be a 30-goal guy. His shot.
He could definitely score. He can because he's on a power play. He can shoot the puck.
His shot's excellent. It's one of the top 5 in the draft.
I also think he'll be a plus player though. Like that's the thing.
It's a pretty important thing to be.
And he'll probably play pretty well in the playoffs. So
now, does Jake O'Brien factor into this for you? Or do you think he's in a tier?
I think he's just a tier below. Like I think he does have offensive, like the high offensive upside there.
Yeah.
But there's just like, I do question his skating a little bit more, and I don't see the two-way game.
I find he's a little more,
and not to mention, like he plays a way that the game is slowed down all the time. He doesn't really play at speed, so
he slows the game down.
Does that work in the NHL?
Guys that can do it is very effective. It's hard to do though.
To me, he's 7th. Like I think that's where he is. I think these other guys are.
Do you not think he has more? Look at his weight compared to the rest of them.
He does have. It's like Desnoyers. He has room to grow too.
Right. So he's very raw as in terms of his like human being.
I wouldn't be
development. This is 77 kilos, and the rest of the guys. I don't know why we're talking in kilos, but just on the screen, the rest of the guys are 85 to 90.
Yeah.
So I don't know what 77 kilo is, but that's not big.
No, he's like
175 pounds.
It's under 180.
Holy shit! We got to get our metric conversion going. We got anyone in Detroit that can do this for us? Okay, so how do you want to sort out? So what are we thinking here? Do we have? Okay, so let's make our tiers. We've got a set top 3.
Well, I think we have a set top 3. People disagree with me on Desnoyers. I don't even care at this point.
Like, yeah, you were real concerned all year. You didn't care at all ever.
No, I didn't. Well, it turns out I was somewhat right, so that's good.
Martone, Hagens, Frondell.
Like, how do you like?
And I think O'Brien belongs in, but not really. But I like him. The thing is, I like him better than Martone.
I think him going.
And I like him better than.
I think he should be the 7th pick. Maybe again. You know what? Maybe if the teams really want a centerman, maybe that's where.
Click on Jake O'Brien. So what did he do in the playoffs?
He had a lot of points in the first round. Like he had a pretty decent playoff, but
yeah,
Lardis got hurt, and they kind of just like.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing as a playmaker, right?
Yeah. He had 11 points.
In 11 points in 11 games.
+1.
So he slowed down there production-wise.
Yeah, but he was on the right side of everything.
I don't know. I liked him a lot. I've liked him all year. But I think there's some pretty good players at the top.
He's good. Like, he's really good. I have him ranked 7th overall. Like, I think he's really good.
Click Frondell. Let's see his points in the U18s. What a shellacking Canada gave him. 7-zip. Ugh. He only had 2 points in the whole tournament.
He had 2 points
on this highest scoring team, second highest scoring team.
Came late.
Still. You want to talk a little U18s?
We can.
Philip Ekberg. Okay, can we talk about Philip Ekberg? Because like I feel like an absolute moron. Watch this guy all year for the 67s.
He was very mediocre all year.
Pull him up on Elite. What was his stats like in 67s? Now, because like, is this just a player who didn't fit? Is this a coach who didn't know how to use the player? Is it a guy who was just away from home for the first time and just never got comfortable? Like, he was okay. 53 games for the 67s, 16 goals, 45 points. And like, I watched a lot of their games. He did a lot of the damage on the power play. He's a quick strike offensive player, which we saw obviously in the U18. So there weren't a lot of times where I was like sustainably impressed through the whole shift, but like he's a very good quick strike player. But holy fuck, he looked good at the U18, didn't he?
Well, yeah. Now, can I start with something here? I guess it plays into something I've said all year.
Yeah.
Dave Cameron's his coach. That might have something to do with it.
Darren Boyce, not a Dave Cameron fan.
I mean, is that wrong at this point? Like we saw what happened at the World Juniors. Nonetheless,
but like
guy who looked pretty mediocre all year, even again, they got shellacked by Canada. He still, again, he was noticeable in the game. He was noticeable against the United States. He looked like a good player at this level,
yes.
Which is kind of surprising because I wouldn't have said that he would have been even playing a lot.
And he was good in the Holinka too. Not this good, but he was like, you watch the Holinka and you're like, okay, this guy's a draft pick for sure. Like, yeah, no problem. And I'm like, okay, I get to watch him all year in Ottawa. I was like, okay, watching the 67s, I'm like, I don't know if this guy's a draft pick. Central scouting rankings come out, he's 182nd or 184th, something really, really low. North American rankings. So that projects as like a fringe draft pick, maybe not. Camp invite type guy. And then he goes and puts up 10 goals and 18 points. He had 16 goals all year for the 67s in 53 fucking games. Goes and plays 7 for Sweden, puts up 10 Genos.
Yeah.
So, like, did that guy help his draft stock or what?
Well,
he's got to get picked now. Someone's going to pick him out.
He'll get picked in the mid rounds now.
He'll get picked for sure now, but I don't think that's enough to vault him in the top 3 rounds still, but
maybe the 3rd round.
Maybe, but not
he's helped his draft status. Again, that's a guy though, like classic guy where we've watched him even live, didn't really see a whole lot. And then we watched this tournament and this guy looks like he's a player.
But it's okay. So I think that speaks so much to like situational things in hockey, like in terms of where you land with your organization on a depth chart, the type of game a coach plays. Christian Epperson last year, he's going to be a 2nd round pick this year, not drafted last year.
Yeah.
Right. But goes to a situation where he fits in much better, plays for a team that like plays to his strengths a little bit more, or a coach knows how to use him, or maybe he's just more comfortable, or maybe there's off-ice stuff that he's doing better. Like so many factors. But geez, that's crazy. I can't remember a guy that I've watched that closely all year that like I can't believe it was the same player wearing the same jersey. Like I'm like, they must have maybe the original Holinka playing Ekberg was abducted by aliens and never made it out of Sweden, and they put some clone version in the 67s, and then they let the real guy play again at the U18s, because I'm convinced this was not the same hockey player.
He's a different guy.
I'm convinced. Well, it's the only possible explanation that there are two Philip Ekbergs running around, one in Ottawa and one in Sweden. And if a team drafts one, I hope they draft the one that plays for Sweden, because that guy's a player.
Let's stay on our draft list for now. We can talk about U18s later, okay?
Yeah, fair enough.
Add this one into that, Morgan. Thank you. So again, we need to make a decision between 4, 5, and 6 here. So we probably would be no better by who gets these picks. We would have a better idea of what team actually gets these selections.
I completely agree. And I'm going to say this. I do see a situation where certain teams, okay, and we're just going to add another name to this clusterfuck. Radim Mrtka there's teams that will like O'Brien and Mrtka more than one of Martone, Hagens, or Frondell.
Probably.
There's teams that's going to take the 6'7" right-hand defenseman over the 5'10" winger, or the 6 foot two-way center.
All right. So in a vacuum, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
So I'm going to tell you, like, these will be my rankings. I'm going to go my 4 to 7. I'm going to go with Martone 4th because, again, I think his style of play actually will play in the playoffs. Like, I think it will. But the reason I'm going to put Hagens 5 and Frondell 6 is I do think that Hagens does have a unique ability with his speed skill combo that if he hits, he can be a 90-point guy. Like, he can be a guy who scores 40 goals. You compared him to Phil Kessel before. Like, that's a decent comparable. And he developed into a very good playoff player at one point.
That's 3-time Stanley Cup champion Phil Kessel.
Exactly.
To you, Darren.
Exactly.
Toronto Maple Leafs legend Phil Kessel.
Now, I don't think James eats as many hot dogs as Phil does, but I mean...
Well, maybe he should fucking start because Phil had a hell of a career.
Yeah, he did. Now, I'm going to put Frondell 6th, but again, there is no reason why he can't go higher.
He's a year younger than Hagens.
He is. And there's no reason why
there's
no reason why he can't go higher than either of them. I do think Frondell is, however, I will say Frondell, I think he's fairly developed. So is Martone, in terms of their body types. Now, I also think Frondell is probably a slam dunk to play in the NHL and be an effective player. It's where you think his offensive upside is.
Okay. I've got a question for you. When's the last time we didn't see a right-hand defenseman in the top 5?
Fair.
When?
So do you think that he could probably go...
It's been a while.
He could probably go anywhere from
4.
3, probably.
3? Yeah.
Not for me, but I could see teams that would take him there.
Radim Mrtka, to me, is the wild card of the top 10. No, really, though. You just said it yourself. He could go as high as 3. We're sitting here on the screen. We have him at 8. I think it's insane that we have him at 8. But
I have him at 8. I'm asking you what you have, and you can't tell me.
Because I'm trying to find a guy who I don't like. There's 8 guys here, I think, that have kind of separated themselves like into a pretty clear tier.
God, he's fucking big. He looks gigantic against these guys.
Boyce, he's gonna look gigantic against anybody.
Yeah, I just think he reacts a little slowly at times. That's one thing. That's like, again, he passes into traffic. Like, I just don't know if he sees the game great.
Well, I think like the hockey sense could be a little bit average, but you can't teach big, can you?
Yeah, it keeps the play away from him there. It's fine.
Like, let's watch. Okay, we were talking about the Dallas game. How hard is it for them to get to the middle of the ice, right? We're watching teams press. And when we're watching, and as much as I fucking hate to say it, the Leafs against Ottawa did a phenomenal job of this too, keeping things to the outside. And I think Mrtka does an amazing job at that. He hardly lets anything to the middle, which is, as we've seen, that's what playoff hockey is. Like,
are you willing to take that third though? I don't think there's a ton of offensive upside there. And
I don't think I'm willing to take it third. No, I don't. But it's hard. It's hard to take a guy that doesn't have a boatload of offensive upside in the top 5. But it might be even harder to find a 6'7" right-handed D that can move that well.
Yeah, he moves solid.
So I battle with that, and like I'm weary because it would come putting him at the top 5 would come at the expense of a guy like Hagens, which is my exact kryptonite, where I'm just dead wrong about a guy who I don't like the way he plays when he's a teenager, but he just is way more skilled than everybody, and he figures out how to play in his 20s.
I'm not moving him out of my top 5.
No, me neither. Okay, so I'm fine with Martone at 4, I think. And I think I'm fine with Hagens at 5 because I just think the ceiling of those two guys.
It's higher than Frondell.
Yep, but yeah, it is. It is higher than Frondell.
Look at him pinch here.
Eh?
Look at him pinch here. Just scared the hell out of that guy.
Yes. Okay. He played the power play for Seattle.
Yeah, he
was pretty good too.
Okay.
Look at that move.
They score here.
Look at that. What a play. What a fucking play.
He lost the puck there.
No, he danced the guy and made a sick. Play the shift again. Go back. See the new buttons they added?
He lost the puck here.
Well, I don't know. Does he?
Yeah. I was watching this live.
I think they passed that. They're going to show the replay? Okay, they will. Let's see.
Like, it's a good pinch.
It's an excellent pinch. If he pushes this puck to the forward, it's a great play.
He kind of just loses it to him. Still a good play, but
no, that was on purpose, dude. What are you talking about? That was a great play. Radim Mrtka.
Stop it.
Got hammered there. Moved the puck.
Took a hit. That's good to see.
I don't think he's scared about taking hits.
No. His edges look a bit better than they were.
And they're going to get – that's the thing, too. He's going to keep improving his skating because he's so big. Anyone that's that big, it takes them till their mid-20s to really be who they are in terms of foot speed. I find his passing's gotten a little better, too.
Still does that soft-ass pass shit.
Only if he has tons of space.
I hate that. I'm not even going to call it soft. It's not soft. He
pushes it sometimes.
He pushes it, yes. And he just makes like, it's like like just, it is a soft, it's like a soft chip off the boards, like instead of being hard on like a hard,
I know.
Hard rim. Like he does it a lot.
No, I know. He needs to zip them a little bit more sometimes. But I've seen him zip them, so he can do it. Just doesn't always do it.
Wasn't getting by him there.
No, and that was their most probably electric offensive player from the back end. That was Villeneuve, right?
Yeah.
He can dance with the best of them. And was he even a threat to beat Mrtka there one-on-one?
No.
I know he's a defenseman, but he's a hell of an offensive player.
Mrtka looks great at this level, though. He looks really good against his peers.
He looks like, dude. He looks like the he looks like the dad playing in the father-son game. He's the coach. He's the coach who's playing the scrimmage with his team because one of the kids was sick or something. He's so much bigger. He's by far the best player. I think he's by far the best player on the ice.
Well, he's the best defenseman on the ice for sure. There's some really.
Well, Jackson Smith's on the ice. Everyone's saying
Darren's first sigh. That's a good pass.
I like Mrtka a lot better than Smith, but there are some that say Smith is better. Well, I think Mrtka's head and shoulders the best player on this ice. Okay, so I think we have a top 5 because I kind of like. I'm on board with what you're. As much as Martone and Hagens have some things that concern us, at a certain point we need to take our own advice and realize, like, when they're in a draft, like, the skill level does matter. Like, there is, like, it's like two guys who are like, one guy might be better in like in a lower level,
yeah,
but a different guy has the ability to play higher, if that makes sense. You see it in beer league all the time, a guy who's way better for whatever reason in that league, but they're like, oh well, that guy could actually play against way better players because he's just more skilled.
So he's more skilled, just like smarter. Like Frondell plays a higher level right now, and like he's good.
So Frondell set records in that league.
Yeah, he did.
He broke Nylander and Pasternak had the 2 best seasons for that for 17-year-old season in that league.
But I don't think they play the same way.
No, he's a much better 200-foot player than fucking either of them, and he outscored them offensively.
But do you think they'll do that in the NHL? Like, that's the question I have for you.
I don't want to bet against him. Where's he right now? Like in consensus rankings. See that pinch? Cover the whole side of the ice to get down low.
Yeah, he's massive. 5. Elite has him 12. Bob has him 5. Craig Button has him 4.
Yeah, Bob's final's not out yet, though. Bob's final rankings aren't out yet.
Fair enough.
They might be by the time we get this episode.
Like guys
Sure,
have
but-
him.
that
Honestly,
it
looks like
matters.
about like 3
3
to 8 looks like about the consensus with a few others kind of off there, but some between 3 and 8. So that's kind of where we like. I have him 6th.
I Mrtka, O'Brien, and Frondell is tough because like these are 3 guys that I've loved all year. I know O'Brien and Mrtka, especially Frondell, I came around probably around Christmas time. I really came around on him. But O'Brien and Mrtka I've loved since the summer. It's hard to sort these 3 guys out. And I think the thing with these guys is I do think they're going to be very, very team dependent what order the teams go in, and we don't know the draft lottery order yet.
These are your rankings, like regardless of the team.
No, I know.
So just for reference, I have Frondell, O'Brien, Mrtka. That's 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I mean, because of I don't know how much offense Mrtka really has. But oh god, Darren, like he's gonna play 24 minutes a night. And is Jake O'Brien a number 1 center or a number 2? Because I'm sure
He could be a number 1 center.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure Mrtka's a first pair right D.
Non-point getting D though.
First pair. 24 minutes a night.
Plays on your PK.
24 minutes. If you're playing 24 minutes, I don't much care where the fuck they come from. Honestly.
So do you want him to be 7th?
But if he's 24 minutes a night, right-handed D, why are we not putting him 4th? Over a winger. Over 2 wingers. Really? These are the conversations to have. What's Martone hits, right? 90 points, 20 minutes a night, 19 minutes a night.
Big ass winger.
Big ass winger. The size, I'm comfortable with taking the point getting winger over the shutdown D, right? But now I've got to think about it because Hagens is 5'10" and Frondell 6 foot.
Yeah.
And O'Brien is 6'2", but he's raw as hell and he's not that fleet of foot.
No.
And Mrtka, you know what you're getting. You know damn well what you're getting. So how do you pass that up for 2 guys? And we've just been watching the NHL playoffs. So look at all these big guys succeed.
Yeah.
Look at all these big guys succeed, and here we are. And now we're going to put
some
small skill ahead of them.
We are, but again,
does that make sense?
At what point does skill not like? At what point do we say, again? So with Hagens, there is that skill level there that's unique. There is skill. There is unique skill here.
Yeah.
Now, do we think at 5'10", how do we feel that translates though? Like, what does that translate into if he hits? Like, what is he if he hits?
I think he's a perimeter goal scorer.
Is he a 35 goal guy who might struggle in the playoffs?
I think he's a guy I think we're looking at a 90+ point regular season player. And I think in the playoffs, it's going to depend how opportunistic he is, because I think he's going to have a fuck of a time trying to get to the middle of the ice in the NHL playoffs. I really do. At 5'10", yep, you're skilled and that's fine. But I've seen lots of skilled guys who have guys who are 6'2" and skilled and can skate like that and have those puck skills have a tough time getting to the middle of the ice in the NHL playoffs. Well, Frondell's only 6 foot though.
He's going to be a better playoff player than him though.
Than Hagens.
Yeah. But he's not going to put up as many points. Like, that is a ballsy move.
I think I want Mrtka over O'Brien.
That's fine.
I'm more convinced, and I love Jake O'Brien, man. I think he's the best play. I think he's the best, second best. He's one of the best pure playmakers in this draft class. I just don't know if he ends up as a number 1 center or a number 2.
You can put Mrtka over him. That's fine. I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't even think it's unreasonable, really, if you put him.
But I like O'Brien. Like if someone took O'Brien ahead of Hagens, I wouldn't even.
So what about here, though? Like, are we okay with Hagens 5th and Frondell 6th? Like, are you willing to take you think the 90-point upside is worth taking him over Frondell?
No, I like Anton Frondell better.
Okay. Because
who do I want on my team? Who do I want? Okay. I'll say this. I think James Hagens probably puts up more offensive numbers than Frondell. And I think I'd probably rather have Frondell on my team.
I think I still can't do it, man. I'm just thinking about it.
Can't pass up the upside?
No. There's just more there, and I still don't like.
I know you struggle to see it with Frondell.
I know I do. I see what like people see in terms of like, hey, this is this guy's an NHL player. He's gonna play. He'll be an effective player, and he could make the NHL before anyone on this list.
So if you're worried about his offensive upside, how are you putting him ahead of Mrtka then?
Well, I still think he would contribute. I just don't think he's going to be like an 80-point guy.
I think he'll be closer to 60.
Yeah.
So you think
who kills penalties, who will like do everything, be on your power play, as a plus player, like a winning player. Will he be your number 1 center? No. But I think he can play your middle 6, one of your middle 6 centers, play a lot of minutes and like be a really good pro.
So do you think he could be like Jonathan Toews?
No, he's not as skilled as him. Toews was more skilled than him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so then, what about a guy like a Kopitar or a Barkov?
Well, I think honestly that Desnoyers is more Kopitar. That's the comparable I have for Desnoyers a lot of the time.
Bergeron is who you like for Desnoyers.
Yeah, but if you actually go look at Kopitar's scouting report when he was drafted, it's eerily similar. Same type of guy. So will they be the same? I don't know, but that's it. There are some. If you do go back and read the scouting report when Kopitar was drafted, it is very similar.
Not that we need direct comparables for all these guys, but I'm just trying to see how they fit. And you're trying to weigh like true value. Like, do you think Frondell is a first-line player or a second? Like, I'll say this: I'm convinced Radim Mrtka is a first-pair defenseman.
Yeah.
Whether he's an offensive first-pair defenseman or if he's a shutdown first-pair defenseman, I'm convinced this guy's going to play 24 minutes a night and be absolutely god-awful to play against in the playoffs.
I think Frondell can play on a first line with but he'd have to play with like another play driver. Like he'd be a really good secondary guy on the first line.
Okay, so you want to do Frondell 6, Mrtka 7, O'Brien 8?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, we could move Mrtka up at some point. But, I mean,
we're also going to reserve. We're going to reserve the right now to. We're going to edit this right up until the day before the draft.
Yeah,
there's still a lot more video to watch. I mean, we're doing this as an exercise post U18s because we're in person together and it's fun. We're trying to get this as close as we can, but we do reserve the right to change
I am going to say one thing about Mrtka. He looks better against his peers than Frondell does.
Yes.
But Frondell looks better in pro than Mrtka did. So that's like kind of the conundrum you have here. Because like Mrtka looks great when he plays his age group.
I think all things being equal, teams typically will veer towards drafting the forward that they think is going to contribute.
And I also think he could make the NHL next year. Is that smart? I don't know.
Mrtka and O'Brien, I don't know. Okay, I like that. I think I'm okay with how this is right now.
Okay, so we have
do you have something to say about Mrtka
7th?
Do you have anything to say about Mrtka versus O'Brien here, 7-8?
No, I'm okay. Like, because I do think that the 6. Well, like, it's tough. Like, I think O'Brien could be a first line center. I think that's an if though. I don't think that's a guarantee. I do think Mrtka is probably at least a top 2 pair defenseman at some point. If that's the case, I think like that's probably more impactful to your team as a right shot. If you're high on O'Brien, though, like he could be as high as 4 here.
Yeah. Okay. What's your gut say?
This is what my gut says here, basically.
You have Mrtka 7?
I'll take Mrtka 7th. I'm okay doing that.
What would you do?
I would do
Gun
Mrtka.
to your head, Mrtka or O'Brien?
I'd take Mrtka.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's fine. Because, like, the 6'6" right-hand defensemen don't grow on trees. Now, I will say one thing, though.
No, they don't.
I will say one thing, though. There are more right-hand shot D in this draft, especially in the first round and like early second, than there are most of the time. And there's not many high-skilled centermen like Jake O'Brien. So
that's why. If you're not sold on Mrtka's offense, maybe you're thinking about it, because if you're picking this high, you could probably in the second round you can get one of those guys like Kettles or Seneca.
Yeah, or like Bedkowski.
Or Bedkowski. Yeah, there's lots of guys. There's lots of guys that'll be available after 25.
So we did the mock draft both times. I think I ended up taking Jake O'Brien around this spot, and it was because of the team I was on. It was the team that was picking here. I think I had Pittsburgh one time, and to me, the choice for them was they need to hit a home run and some higher skill because they're not good.
I think Jake O'Brien would fit with Pittsburgh very well.
So I took Jake O'Brien. I didn't take Mrtka. And I think I did it also with Montreal as well, that I took Jake O'Brien instead of Mrtka.
Okay.
I had a choice between them and I didn't do it. So like maybe like it is kind of team dependent, because if you're looking at, again, there are teams here that are looking more at the offensive upside.
Okay. I think, yeah, if I'm not sold that Mrtka is going to put up many points in the NHL. I think he got, Jake O'Brien. Okay. O'Brien 7, because we've loved him all year. And I think there's a fucking pile of offensive upside here with that guy.
Okay, so because I do believe there is kind of a fall off in offensive upside in a lot of these guys once we get.
There are. Okay, so now we're in a mess here. Oh wow, Darren! Look at the update to his rankings.
I know, I hate it.
You finally came around,
but I don't like it.
We're talking about Brady Martin. For those who don't.
Oh, not him. That's not the one I don't like.
What do you not like? Smith
9th.
I will go Eklund.
Well, look,
I would take Eklund over Smith.
Okay, can I just talk about Smith for a minute?
Please do, because this should be good.
The body's great, okay? And he's a really, really good rush defender. Like, he breaks up a ton of plays. So these are two things we really like. Couple things I don't like. A lot of people really like his skating. His skating's okay to me. It's not like he buzzes around. Like, it's not elite. Like, it's good. But he's 6'3".
It's excellent.
It's not excellent.
Darren. It's so smooth and fluid.
He's not that. So there's smoother guys than him. It's okay. It's fine.
Fucking curmudgeon here.
It's fine. The problem, again, it's more than good enough, again, for his size. The size here is an NHL defenseman, and the rush defense by itself is an NHL defenseman, right?
Yep.
He does play physically, so he should be able to turn into an in-zone defender pretty easily, you'd think. Okay?
You would think.
Decision-making is still poor.
At times.
Yes.
He also makes some excellent plays.
So yes,
the problem is I don't know if his excellent plays are hope plays that work out, or if he really sees them.
You watch him in the under 18s, and he's playing a lot, which is fine. And he'll make, like, you watch the game, it's like, oh, like, that's a good play. And then it's followed by, like, that was a terrible play. Like, it's kind of just, you see what you want to see here, that what he would make him a top 10 pick. Like, he could theoretically,
but you have to project guys too.
That's the thing. The projection with him, if he figures it out, is quite high. Like, it's higher than Mrtka.
Is it?
Yes, he's a 6'3" defenseman who theoretically could be an offensive player.
He'll never be as imposing as Mrtka.
He's a just as good a rush defender as he is.
I don't think that stays true when all the guys are.
He's also a left shot, but whatever. Here's the decision making, though, at times infuriates me. And the other thing that just it kills me to no end is watching a defenseman just constantly take shots from the point that just get blocked midsection by the other team. And I get it. He scored a nice goal in the final. Like it was a really nice shot. How many shots got blocked before that? Where like the shot wasn't the play. Like he's not good at getting shots.
Okay, but conversely, how many guys could have made that shot go in?
Well, this is the whole conundrum with them. Like
not many guys are making that play either.
Like this is the problem. Like so, the canvas is here where you see this guy could be an excellent NHL player. The canvas is also here where like the coach will not play him.
I'll give you a name. Zach Werenski.
I don't think he's as offensive as him. Like
No,
I don't
maybe
see him
not,
as the
but-
offensive creator.
Okay,
of that
but
type of guy.
how long and how hard like were people on Werenski for his decision making early in his career, and now he's up for the Norris Trophy?
Look, I've come around on, you know what? If we're looking at projection, put him ninth then. It's the highest defensive projection we have of anyone left.
Darren's especially grumpy today. We had a long weekend.
I have to put him here.
So, okay, over Eklund. Why do you have him over Eklund?
Because I think Eklund's a second line player. This guy could be he could theoretically be a number one defenseman. Does he hit that? I don't know. Theoretically, he could be.
We don't think Eklund could be a first line winger?
He's not going to drive play. I think he's a secondary guy. But a good one.
He tries so hard.
Again, he's going to be great. He's also smaller. I'm worried about the way he plays. Like, how long is that going to last?
He might actually have to not play as hard.
Yeah, like I'm worried he's going to.
He's going to hurt himself.
People are going to say I'm a hypocrite. I'm worried he's going to get hurt. I am.
We rag on small guys for not playing hard, and then we rag on this guy for playing too hard.
He is a little reckless, but again,
he's a lot reckless.
But again, good player. I think between here and the other forwards, I do think there's a divide here. Like there's the first group of forwards, there's him, and then there's everyone else. So I mean, if you wanted to take him over Smith, go for it.
I'm not saying I do.
I do think that Smith
Smith is younger as well. Eklund is a late birthday. Not that that's the end all.
He's a 6'3" defenseman who skates decently well and is a good defender and is physical and has some offensive upside if you can tap into it. He just needs to be taught and learn how to do it.
Okay, so Mrtka, then Smith, and then Victor Eklund. Is that our top 10? Because I would say I'm going to say something you're just going to absolutely fucking hate right now.
Yeah, probably not.
Do you take Brady Martin over Victor Eklund?
No.
Why not?
I think Eklund has more skill than him, but
did you watch Brady Martin at all at the
yes,
U18s?
I watched Brady Martin at the U18s.
Okay.
He looked very good. Victor Eklund was so good that he just didn't play in the tournament. So.
He's too old for the tournament, Darren.
Oh, well, whatever. He's too good.
He's too good because the calendar said so. Ineligible.
Well, whatever. I like Eklund. Okay, like I think both. Like I've moved Martin up. Okay, I still like Eklund a little bit better. I do think he plays a pro game already. Even at a small size, like again, in spite of me worried that he's getting injured, I think the way he plays will translate in a playoff format. I think he would play well in that format. It's hard to play against even at that size. So, I mean, I'll take that into consideration with him. I like him. You probably could. There's probably teams that would take Brady Martin higher here. The work ethic of Brady Martin is really good.
It's as good as I've seen in this draft.
No, Bill Zonen's pretty good.
Yeah. But they're look, there's only so hard that you can work, and they're both A+ they're both A+ guys in the work ethic department. I don't know how I feel about Hensler there.
Well, here's the question I have. Like
Hensler 11, eh?